Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 80 of Summon Sign, Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth game discussion podcast. I'm your host, as always, Brad Ellis, and I have two lovely guests with me here. First of all, we're going to start with an old regular, my boy, though, Dustin Furman. Dustin, hello.
Hello. Happy to be here. I feel like it's been a little bit, so excited to be back. Excited to be here with our guest and some fun games to talk about today. I have a busy day today. I've been it's about to be busy because I'm recording this show. And I was telling you, Brad, right before right after this, immediately getting in the car, driving an hour to the airport to drop Holly off. My dad and I are going to grab some dinner on the way back. So that'll be nice. And then I'm just solo for the next week in my house. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. You know, I've never been alone in the house. Like, Holly has never gone on a trip without me.
Right.
It's not, now, to be fair, I have gone on many trips without her.
To my house.
And not because it's not that I'm trying to leave her at home, but it's like, I'm going to Summer Game Fest. I'm going to Too Many Games, whatever, these events. She's like, nah, she wants nothing to do with that. And we've gone on plenty of trips together, so I'll be at home living like a slob all week.
Enjoy it. You don't know when it's going to happen again. So
that's true.
Live it up, man.
I think I was trying to remember who I was talking to, either Lockmort or something. It's like, oh, you should plan like a LAN party with your friends and stuff. I'm like, Holly doesn't prevent me from doing that. Like, there's nothing that I feel like I can or can't do now that she's not here. Like,
yeah.
There's a certain level. There's like a certain level of boy though you can't be when the ladies are around.
That's true.
So you can, be idiotic if you want.
One thing, actually, there's one thing that I'm going to do that Holly would not appreciate. Okay. I'm going to invite my good friend Brandon over.
She would not appreciate that.
That's not. She appreciates that, but we're going to have lots of beers and we're going to watch Minecraft.
Okay.
She was like, I want nothing to do with that. I was like, okay, well, God bless Brandon and I, because we're getting loaded and watching Minecraft. It's going to be great.
Yes, hell yeah. And also our very special guest this week, Alex of Boomstick Gaming. Hello, Alex. How are you, man?
Hey, guys. Hey. Saw you two at Summer Game Fest. Nice to see you again. Yeah.
I think, Alex, we actually met the first time, I want to say, at an Armored Core 6 event.
Yeah.
I think that's where I first met you.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a long time ago. Damn.
I just kind of jumped you at the event. You didn't know who I was at the time.
Yeah.
But
I was like, oh, this guy's nice. I like him.
Aw.
And we kind of just stayed in touch over the years.
Yeah.
And I see you post skateboard videos. I'm like, okay, this guy's cool. I like this. This is good content right here.
All right. Sweet.
But yeah, I guess...
glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I guess if anyone doesn't know who you are or what your channel is, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, Alex. I run Boomstick Gaming. I make... kind of, you could call it game guides, but instead of the go here, do this, I kind of try to expand the idea of what's possible in the games. Like, increase the fun factor is primary goal. Sometimes I'll do the go here, do this, but it's not my primary thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, mostly on YouTube. Also dabble in TikTok, but not too hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, I've used some of your videos in the past, like your Night Rain one, right when it came out. I was like, what the fuck's happening in this game? And I looked at your guide and I was like, oh, okay. Now I can understand the loop.
Lost my mind making that one since it's like randomized.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with that concept that would actually be helpful to everybody,
Yeah. I just watched one of your Death Stranding 2 videos last night because I'm now that I've finished, I've hit the end credits. I feel free to watch any videos about it. And yours was the first one that came up. So
sick. Which one? Which of the two? There was the things you didn't know were possible, and then like just general tips.
Things you didn't know were possible.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I put a little bit more love and care into. So I'm glad you watched that one. The other one was kind of rushed. But yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. And I would feel safe. You're safe to watch it if you haven't finished the game. I'm just insanely overly cautious
Yeah.
compared to a lot of people. So, but yeah, check out that video. It's very good.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, a little bit of gameplay spoilers, but no story stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, we met up again at Summer Game Fest here. This is the first time you met Dustin and all that good stuff. How was Summer Game Fest for you, man?
Oh, it was pretty fun. It's always a little stressful, but it saw so many games. I packed it all into 2 days. So
yeah, you were busy.
Non-stop scheduled, but yeah, I got to play a lot of cool stuff. I don't have to like go home and like write any articles. It's more just like what I plan on covering next year, you know?
Yeah.
So there is some kind of confusion with like some of my email contacts that, hey, where's your coverage? I'm like, I'm not an article guy. Like these are potential projects in the future kind of.
Right. Yeah. What was your favorite thing you played there or saw?
Favorite thing I played? Probably maybe Wu Chang.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I just got a review code of. I can't speak of, but I can talk about what I played at Summer Game Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a high fidelity Souls-like. Pretty sweet.
Okay.
Did you guys get to play it?
No, we didn't get to play it, but if it has your approval, because I know you've played a ton of Souls-likes, then I'm more interested now.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of Black Myth Wukong, where it seems like just pushing the fidelity is the main focus. Like, although it's early in the game, I didn't see a whole lot of like gameplay mechanics that we haven't seen before in other Souls-likes, like Code Vein with the active abilities, but just the fidelity of the game looked amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy good. Nice.
What about you guys? Favorite game?
Played.
Yeah, played.
Dude, Pragmata was one of my favorites.
Ooh, that was my second.
Yeah.
That game was surprised. I feel like that game surprised everybody. Kind of how cool it was.
Mm-hmm.
What I was surprised by is that we played the demo, and I was like, "Oh, that was so surprising." I don't remember seeing any gameplay really, and it wasn't until that Capcom Presents a few weeks ago that they really showed. I think they actually showed the same video that they showed us before the demo, explaining how the gameplay works.
Yeah,
because when we were explaining like the demo on this show, I was like, I don't think anyone has actually seen this before. So
yeah,
that was a weird one, but I was really surprised by Dying Light the Beast, just because I wasn't really into Dying Light 2, but that demo was pretty awesome.
Yeah, man.
It was good. One I wish I would have gotten to play. I've heard some good things about it. Does it feel kind of like Dying Light 3 or like Dying Light, 2.5 kind of?
I'm probably not the best person to ask that, since when I played a little bit of Dying Light 2 when it came out, so it was years ago at this point, but I think that the main big difference is that they removed guns from Dying Light 2, and a lot of people did not like that, and so they added guns back in. So that's one of the main things, but I think the Dying Light the Beast started as an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Brad, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
So now it's not. It definitely feels different for me, who only played a little bit of 2, but it made me a lot more interested in it for sure.
Yeah, totally. Shout out to Shinobi as well. I loved that demo. I'm so amped for that game. Did you get to play that, Alex?
No, I didn't. Is that the 2D side scroller?
Yeah, the Sega one.
I watched it, didn't get to play it.
Damn.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, ruled.
Yeah, I was talking to Michael Huber. He was all into that.
Oh, yeah. Mike's going to be all about that shit. Yeah, he loves Shinobi. Yeah. So that was good stuff. All right, guys. Let's see here. Let's do some housekeeping. Patreon.com/laststandmedia. If you'd like to support us, you can get early ad-free access to all of our shows over there. So please consider supporting us there. If you enjoy the show, leave us a nice rating, thumbs up, all that good stuff on whatever podcast service you use, or YouTube, all that stuff. If you want some merch, laststandmedia.store. What was the physical game that came out? Habroxia?
Habroxia. I actually have a prototype box right here.
Oh, nice. There it is. I believe they're all sold out, though.
I don't think so.
Oh, are they?
Well, maybe. I mean, if they sold out, then I didn't know about it. So I'll check real quick. But
yeah, we got plenty of merch over there. So if you're curious about that, also, Alex, let them know where they can find you. All your content.
Yeah, YouTube at Boomstick Gaming.
Yeah,
pretty much it. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Boomstick Alex over on Twitter. X.
Yeah, good stuff over there. All right, let's see here. Connor Reese wrote in, "Holy shit, Boomstick! Been a huge fan of yours ever since the infamous Dead Cells review. And I always look forward to your tips and tricks videos whenever a big new game releases. Super excited to see you on Summon Sign and just wanted to say you're the man."
Oh, appreciate that.
Yeah, very nice, dude.
Awesome.
Do you now? I'm risking. I don't want to say I'm risking asking this. Do you ever been like, oh man, they have to bring that up? Like, there's people that always bring that up all the time.
Maybe like a little bit, but like one thing that like a whole lot of people don't know is that like the first thing that really kind of made me get some traction on YouTube was my Monster Hunter World weapon guide, which was about 5 months before that whole IGN thing. And that hit I think it's at like 4 million views.
Wow.
So that's where I really first gained traction. But yeah, everybody just says, oh, he just got plagiarized. That's why he's popular, IGN. So yeah, I still kind of get that. But
yeah.
Damn.
The true fans were there before that.
Yeah, the true Monster Hunter fans, they knew.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. This is from Zach Schumler. "I leave next week for the Air Force. I am nearly 30. Wish me luck." Hey, Zach, good luck, man. Hope you get to play some games. Bring a handheld. Yeah. I don't know what they'll allow you to have, but...
Don't bring a Switch, though.
Don't bring a Switch?
You're just going to be asked to be... I mean, I'm assuming Nintendo fans are not looked at kindly in the military. Like, you're just asking to get beat up. Like, be a dork.
Maybe. This ain't the Xbox 360 days.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure, though. All right, Dustin, we're going to start with you.
Speaking of dorks.
Yeah, we're going to talk about... This is the first game we're going to talk about, Alex. I'm curious if you've played this or what your thoughts on it are. The Legend of Zelda, wrong tab. The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Switch 2 version. You're revisiting it.
Yeah, I was surprised because I feel like there hasn't been very much Switch 2 stuff on this show. Has there?
Just Mario Kart mostly, I would say.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're slacking, Brad, as the host of Punching Up.
What do you want me to do, man? I played Mario Kart.
Oh, you're a big Zelda fan. You got the poster in the back.
I am.
You booted up for 10 minutes.
Hey, I'm not booting. If I'm booting up Zelda, I'm going the whole way. I'm not just playing for 10 hours or something like that.
Okay. That's respect. I can respect that. But yeah, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom once again on the Switch 2. And the big thing, of course, is the performance upgrade on the Switch 2 is as I'm sure you've heard it on Twitter and from other podcasts a million times how it's night and day. It's absolutely true. Not just the fact that it goes from a shaky 30 FPS at best in situations on Switch 1 all the way up to what I believe is now 1440p 60 and like a really good if it is. I'm sure that it's not locked 60, but it hasn't been enough for me to ever notice like any kind of like poor performance on it. So I've been playing this I don't want to say super extensively because most of my time has been for Death Stranding 2, but this has been filling in the cracks here and there. And I'm having such a great time with it. And it feels distinctly different from the first time I played it.
Oh,
mainly because even if I tell myself when I start a game, be like, just enjoy it. Take your time. You don't have any embargo to hit. No one's rushing you. I will rush myself at a certain point where I'll just start like, all right, I want to see what happens next. Things like that. So with this playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, I am just fucking around like purely like I'm just kind of going around
crazy stuff.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, I want to get as many building materials, like the different Zonai devices. I'm just clearing parts of the map, going around like, oh, I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes hunting shrines for a bit. Initially, when I started the playthrough, I started to do the main quest where I went and the bird guys with the boats in the sky.
Oh, the Ritos, yeah.
The Rito. I started to do that, and dude, I was getting destroyed. Like immediately, I was like, okay, I need to go. I need to get some more hearts. And that's when it kind of clicked. I was like, oh, I can kind of I could literally play this game for the next 3 years on and off. And it's not a problem because I have already beaten it. I know what happens. And so I can just kind of really enjoy it for what it is. And what's funny too is that I played pretty extensively on Switch. I don't nowhere near like 100%, but I did a lot of side stuff. I have already found so many more side things that I have never seen before. Just from taking my time, walking around, doing stuff. And a lot of stuff, there may be stuff too that I just simply don't remember. There are particular shrines that are like very based on like creating different contraptions in order to beat them. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember how I did this. But man, this game, I mean, it's still just so awesome and so clearly an impressive technical achievement that they were able to make this sandbox with the physics system and have it all work together in a way that is easy to understand. And the fact that the game gives you this freedom to like, they probably, when they're designing some of these puzzles, have a few intended ways that you can do it. But if you can figure out some off the wall crazy way to do it, that's fine. Like, there's definitely ways that you can do things that are like, well, there's been so many times, even in this recent playthrough, where I finish a shrine. I'm like, that definitely was not the way you're supposed to do that.
Yeah. How good is that feeling, though? It feels so good every time that happens.
Well, it's a mix of both. I mean, it always feels good, but there's sometimes a feeling of like, no one's thought of that but me. Like,
yeah, you outsmarted. Yeah. That's what it feels like.
You're
it's
like,
great.
I outsmarted it. There's other times where you're like, I am really fucking dumb, and I did not deserve that. But I'm glad that I was able to pull it off. So that's been cool. I really haven't been messing with. There's like the new smartphone features where you can like use a GPS and stuff like that. Apparently, there's some. Maybe they fixed it now. But there's some glitch that let you like auto build anything without any materials or something.
Yes, I saw this.
Oh,
so I haven't messed with that at all. I'm not honestly really that interested in that, but yeah, I'm having an awesome time. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's been cool about it. There is HDR in it, but as with a lot of the new, like the Switch 2 edition games, the HDR is kind of mixed. Like it makes the screen a little brighter on your docked mode. The handheld mode, I mean, there's the whole Switch 2 screen debacle going on right now that we don't have to get into. But so, yeah, I'm just having a great time, taking my time with it. And yeah, I'm trying to think.
Do you have any like deja vu issues with it playing it the second time? Because I recently also started it on the Switch 2 just on my flight I just took. I just came back from a vacation. And although maybe in my top 10 games of all time, I feel like, man, I just did this shrine. I don't know. It's so fresh in my mind still. Do you have any issues like that?
No, probably the opposite. I don't know. I guess that's a blessing and a curse. I feel like this is just a life in general. Like I can never remember anything. Like I'll see a movie and then a year later can't remember anything about it. So for the most part, it's been a blessing right now. And that it's like, I'll do a shrine. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I remember this, but I don't remember how to solve it. And there's been numerous times where I'm like, I have no idea what to do right now or how to do this or where to get this or that. Luckily, my wife, Holly, has a much better memory than me. And also she played the game more extensively than me. So she's been able to help me out with some different things, remembering how to do whatever. But yeah. Oh, one other complaint I guess I have. This is a complaint that remains true.
Mm-hmm.
This game, and it's like, it constantly takes you out of the game for like a dialogue box or going up to a menu or whatever. Like particularly I'm thinking of when I see those, there's the guy that has the stand that you have to like build something around it. That's such a cool little fun event or mini game that's all around the map. But it gets so annoying to me, and this is just classic Nintendo, where if you fail it, it fails. And then he's like, oh, and then you have to wait 5 seconds for the dialogue, and then it will fade to black, and then it will reset. And it's like, okay, now I get to try it again. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's like, it kind of reminds me, not exactly, but like Animal Crossing also sometimes has that, like, I have to go through this process to do this thing or talk to this person or whatever. And it's like, Or if it's something as simple as checking in at a horse or
Stable.
an inn, a stable. Yeah, it's like, okay, I got to go talk to this guy, exhaust all the dialogue, you know. So sometimes I wish it could be a little snappier in some ways, but
Yeah, or have like a skip or something.
right. Yeah, skip would be perfect.
Is that, I mean, I'm sure that bothers you in Death Stranding too, with like the delivering cargo, and it's like the same old animation, the same old like hologram talking to you.
Yeah.
At least you can skip it in that.
Yeah, there's been, especially right now, which we are going to talk about Death Stranding too, but I am doing a lot of like cleanup, like getting 5 stars on different places. And so I'm just like, I feel like I'm constantly getting in and out of my truck constantly. And I even have the thing to grab packages. It's like, oh, I get it, but also this can be a little annoying. Some of the things too, like looking back at the game, because I'm thinking about some of the criticism that has come through, like people complaining about the weapon breaking and stuff like that. It's funny because when I first started to replay, I was like, yeah, the weapon breaking is kind of annoying. Like, this is kind of bothersome how often my weapons are breaking. And then I remembered, I was like, oh, if I just combine my weapon with something else, which is what they want you to do, your weapon will last way longer.
Like triples the durability, yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, were people not just doing that? Which is possible that they just weren't combining stuff to make new weapons. But I get that some people just want to stick with the same weapon and use it for a while. But the weapon durability, I think, is fine. And there's still, I saw people complaining on our Discord about it yesterday. Like it still persists this day that people are like, oh, like, it's a great game, but the weapon durability sucks. So
yeah, I always have the issue in Tears of the Kingdom of having like too many cool weapons. Like the opposite of that. Like I'll have a sword that has a box on the end of it, and like a spear that has a claymore on the end of it. And then it's like, I don't want to drop any of these. Like I have too many cool weapons. Yeah. So maybe people aren't using that fuse enough.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely possible. But Brad, when are you going to do your replay?
I don't know when I'm going to do it because
there's not any games out right now that are.
I mean, I did finish Death Stranding. So. Yeah, I did finish Death Stranding. I don't know. It's really hard for me. If I do it, Dustin, I have to do it for like a video or something like that to make sure to put in the effort for it. But like Donkey Kong is coming up, so I'm like, not before that.
What is that, the 17th?
Yeah. So 10 days from when we're shooting.
10 days. Hell yeah. And isn't Tony Hawk is coming out soon too, right?
Tony Hawk is also coming out soon.
I believe so, yeah.
So yeah, there's plenty of stuff, and I'm like, well, there's plenty of RPGs I still want to play that I haven't gotten a chance to play yet. So I don't know though, Dustin. I've definitely thought about it many times because I want to revisit it and just kind of reevaluate it all. But I don't know, man. I don't know when I'm going to get to it. It's nice knowing that it's there and it's in a really great state now. Frankly, a better state than I ever thought the game would be or Nintendo would put an effort with. So I'm really happy about that. But I just don't know when I can get to it. But I do know when I get to it, it's going to be delightful.
It's perfect for flights. Like if you just treat it as your flight game, like it'll just delete flights.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like I just got to that, like the intro Sky Island you start in, like the big tutorial. And that just like evaporated a 3-hour flight, like easy.
Yeah.
I still think that intro of Tears of the Kingdom, that tutorial land is better than like many whole games. With how well it's designed.
Yeah. That's what I did on my way home from Summer Game Fest, was that opening area. And
it's so good. It's so well designed. Yeah.
The Switch battery definitely was suffering by the end. And my like the plug in my seat did not work. So I took a USB-C cable and I routed it into my MacBook and I charged my Switch off of my MacBook and it totally worked. Nice. So I was good.
Yeah. Wow. Look at you. I guess, Dustin, is there anything you are liking more about it this time around or less?
Liking more or less? I guess I'm just remembering certain aspects. Like the beginning of the game is actually, I think in a lot of ways, pretty tough with when you only have 3 hearts. There's like a part when you're going to the mountain in the village where there's a giant troll. And I think there's like trolls all throughout the game, right? But this one, I was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. I've got some bomb flowers. I'm just gonna shoot him. Dude was immediately one-shotting me super easy. And there's other parts of the game too where even when I had like 4 or 5 hearts, I was like, yeah, this shit is tough. So partially it's for gatekeeping you out of certain areas until you've done more of the game or you have enough shrines. But 3 hearts, man, at the beginning of the game is definitely not easy at points. I've been doing also some of the underground, and that's been really fun. For some reason, I don't know, 60 FPS makes everything better. Where there's something about that underground area. I don't know if it's like visually where because I'm getting a higher frame rate, I just can like take in more of the area. I feel like I'm like navigating around it a lot easier. It's still really tough at certain parts. I'm trying to grind enough of I can't remember, whatever rocks you use to get your battery up.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
that's like been one of my top priorities is like, okay, I just got to go grind rocks because only having one battery charge is so much of the fun is the creativity of like figuring out how to build crazy shit. And so when you only have one battery, it's like,
yeah. And the
can't
first
really do
upgrade is
that.
like what, like 100 of those crystals. It's like,
Yeah,
I feel like that could have been tuned down a little bit, but
right.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little annoying, but yeah, as far I think overall though, I'm just more impressed with the game now, even than I was then. Just thinking about how to be clear, I don't know a lot about game development at all. I do know that making a system that fully integrates with the environment and the physics and giving the players this level of freedom within it, and the fact they did it on a stinky Switch 1 like is just crazy. And so now to see it all in like 60 FPS and 1440p, it looks amazing.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's go on and move on to our next game, which is what we've all been playing. Dustin, you and I have finished this. Alex, I don't know if you have it yet or not, but Death Stranding 2.
episode 8.
Okay. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Alex, let's start with you. What do you think about the game so far?
So far, up to episode 8, I think it is pretty much an improvement over the first game in almost every way. The threat of the terrain is tuned down quite a bit, though, which I like the player versus the terrain element in the first one, where in the second one, it's almost not even a thing. You're just like cruising around in a bike like immediately, and then you're in a truck, and then there's no risk of your cargo. That's my only complaint, but everything else, the gunplay is way better. I'm enjoying the story so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just missed that threat of the terrain. Maybe that comes up more after episode 8, but I'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Because playing the first Death Stranding really kind of kicked off this enjoying games where you're versus the terrain. Like then I started playing Mud Runner, Snow Runner. Those are all like you versus, the topography and physics.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of fascinated me after Death Stranding 1. So I wish there was a little bit more of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dustin, we'll start with light with you also. Just overall quick thoughts about the game, I guess.
Yeah, overall thoughts, of course. Brad said we have both finished it, but no spoilers.
Right.
So overall, I agree with Alex. Like overall, a huge improvement over the first game in terms of like, obviously visually is absolutely incredible. I think that the pacing of the story, while it's not perfect, is better than the first game in a lot of ways. The thing that I think looking back in terms of like the gameplay and talking about like the environment being a huge part of the challenge is one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if it's just like the way how I've been playing with keeping the different shelters at like a high enough star that there's like more stuff in my environment. There are certain systems that the game has given me tools for that I will never need to use. Like I have never in my entire playthrough, maybe one time early on. I'd never been driving a car and ran out of battery or had to build
Really?
a
Same.
thing for it. So I've just, dude, people have been they're building generators like everywhere. And a lot of times I built a few of my own vehicles, but a lot of times I'll get them from the online garage and they already have max battery. So
Yeah.
I've had zero problems with battery. And so I'm trying to think, there was another thing too where I was like, man, this is cool. I guess the battery too for Sam, like your exoskeleton battery. I have run out of battery for that. So I guess that is one aspect, but there's a lot of tools that I'm just like, man, maybe it's my play style. And so I've locked in, but there's certain things that I was like, yeah, the pole, the javelin pole that does the electricity thing. I've never used it. I think I used it one time when I got it. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to stick to the assault rifle from here on out. But overall, and I talked about this a lot on Sacred, is that the combat was one of the, I don't want to sound like make it sound like it was horrendous in the first game, but it was definitely one of the weakest points. And the combat in Death Stranding 2 is so fucking awesome that I was actively looking forward to the next combat encounter. Anytime that I was like, hell yeah. A lot of Metal Gear Solid 5 in this game, specifically in terms of all the different tools that you can use. You can decide how you want to go into a different mission, whether you want to keep it stealthy, go in guns blazing. If you literally just want to shoot everybody with rocket launchers, eventually you can do that as well. And there's been some like cool, crazy videos. There's one going around last night on Twitter of like someone that's using the cargo launcher to like create a mortar strike. That was pretty cool. So there's a lot of creativity in the different ways you can handle things. But overall,
what do you think of sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, good.
What do you think of like the overuse of slow mo in the combat? Like, I feel like half of the time you're in slow motion. What do you think on that?
I initially was bothered by that because I went to the settings to see if you could turn it off.
Yes.
Eventually I started to just use it to my advantage, where if you went into slow-mo, then that could kind of be your opportunity to like click to another enemy and try to put as many bullets into that one as possible.
Right.
Which is good from a strategic standpoint, but eventually when you're at a base that has, I don't know, 15 or 20 enemies, it's just like constantly slowing you down. It's like, okay, maybe that's enough. It would be interesting if they did let you turn it off, maybe if like a hard mode.
They need to let you turn it off because Metal Gear Solid 5 had slow-mo just like that. And I found it very annoying, but I was pretty sure you could turn it off in Metal Gear after a while. So
yeah, maybe you can turn it off. And I'll look.
I looked too. I didn't see it, but you're right, Dustin. You do learn to eventually start to like harness it for like use it yourself. It becomes a core mechanic, but yeah, it's jarring at first. It's like, I keep slowing down. Like, I get it. I'm spotted. I shot a guy in the head. I get it.
Yeah. What's been one of your guys' favorite things to build, or what do you think is one of the funniest things to build out there?
I like the ramps.
The ramps are actually really
just using them
clutch.
on foot.
Yeah,
using them on foot is just epic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One of my favorite items, slight spoiler, I guess. So be aware, is like the kind of like coffin things you make that you can kind of ride around on. Those things rule.
Insane.
I love those things.
I know about you guys, but early on in my playthrough, maybe the first 40 or 50%, I was the road builder, just constantly building roads, which was great. And it made, that section of the game a little more easy. I eventually got overwhelmed because there are a lot of roads in this game that you can build. And in addition, I don't know. Some things are like, are they gameplay spoilers? I guess we could just put mild gameplay spoilers for this section. We're not going to talk about story, but people are sensitive to different things. There's also monorails that you can build. So that's like another layer of things that you can kind of work towards. And so I built like two full monorail systems, half of the map's roads, I think. And I was trying to figure out, like, am I the only one building roads, or is the game designed that it wants you to do most of the work and it will only let other people do some of it? Just because it got to a point where I was like, come on, guys, like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm contributing a lot to these roads. I'm using up all my chiral crystals, all my metals. I was hoping that if the more I put into it, the more I would see other roads appear, but so far, nope, just me out there building.
Yeah, I do wonder how that works. I haven't built a road yet in Death Stranding 2, but there's quite a few out there for me.
Yeah, same.
Still plenty to do, but there's still a good amount of road. So, I don't really know how that works exactly, Dustin.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to do a second playthrough offline, because I feel like the online component, although like really cool the first time you experience it, drastically lowers the difficulty.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would, I mean, man, if you were doing it offline, just think of like, how many times well, for me, I mentioned the generators that are everywhere. So it's like, I'd have to bring generators everywhere to like get a whole system of that set up, all the different bridges that people build, that you cross and stuff like that. It's like, man, that would be like the ultimate hard mode for Death Stranding is offline mode for sure.
Yeah, offline brutal difficulty. Yeah.
Offline brutal, man.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I guess, Alex, like, what's something you would like them to do, let's say hypothetically, for a third one? Maybe making the terrain again more dangerous to get through?
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Yes, like doubling down on the topography being the pretty much your main enemy. I would prefer that. I can see how the general like mainstream audience might not be into that. Like, why am I stumbling on rocks? You know, that's unlike any other game. But you know, like you and me, Brad, we've played so many games throughout the years. It's like anything that's new and different is like way more intriguing, at least for me, like out of the box. But yeah, bringing back more threat of the terrain. You could even like tap into some Tears of the Kingdom, like build some custom stuff that's like full physics.
Yeah, that'd actually be really cool. Yeah, have physics
and then,
involved
like,
in it more so.
Somebody's like crazy, like weird, wonky mech could appear in your world, and you get in it, and that could be cool.
Give Sam or whatever some like gravity gloves and make shit with that almost. Yeah,
there you go.
That could be cool. Dustin, what do you think? What would you want to see in 3? Something they can improve upon.
I think that what I'd want to see, I mean, they already did such a good job in 2 is like more types of environments, because they already added so much with like a day-night cycle. There's like sandstorms and like river floodings, things like that. They've done so much. So I'm not like discounting the level of things that they've added. But as I was playing the game, I was thinking like, man, it would be cool if there was like, there's a snowy mountain, obviously, but like, what if there was like an ice lake or something where it's like you can barely have any traction or something like that?
Yeah.
Or like an active volcano that you have to worry about, like lava flowing down, or
they toyed with that kind of stuff in this one, like environmental hazards. I kind of wish they did more of that stuff.
Yeah, it never affected me in any way.
Yeah, there's like here it's flooded a little bit.
It's like I see it, but I didn't even stumble. But
yeah, it's cool idea, but I do wish that was fleshed out more. So, dudes, this is a really weird game, and a lot of people don't get it. First, Dustin, let's start with you. How would you sell this game to someone who's maybe on the fence?
I think that you need to sell them on the weirdness. Like, you could, I think that a lot of people would say like, oh, well, this game's got a lot more combat and it's a lot more streamlined. But it's still a delivery simulator game that is not like anything that you've played before. I was telling my friend Jason, he gets mentioned on our shows all the time. He's my friend that is into games, but he's definitely more normie status. And so he gets a lot of like recommendations from me and stuff like that. He played Expedition 33. He loved it, but he wouldn't have known anything about it unless I told him about it, really. So when I was telling him about this game, I sold him on the weirdness. I'm like, dude, this is a game that is about It's like a weird post-apocalyptic where people connect to babies in order to see ghosts floating around. And at the same time, you're like a UPS man. And so you got to like figure out what your kit is for the next delivery. Maybe you're going up a mountain or maybe whatever. He's like, that is so weird, but so interesting at the same time. If they're not sold on the weirdness, they're not going to like it. So you just got to lean into it, I think.
Right. What about you, Alex?
Yeah.
Anything?
I think you need to sell them first on the stealth action, the Metal Gear side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pitch it as this is a hidden Metal Gear Solid 6 behind this weird package delivery game.
Yeah.
Like, once you get into it, it's like feels very tactical, and I feel like you get people in with that, and then they just have to get used to the package delivery part, which the OG fans are already accustomed to.
Yeah. DS2 is weird though because
there's a lot more combat.
Yeah, there is. DS2 is just super weird. I guess it's just Death Stranding in general is that if you don't play Death Stranding 1, you're going to be very confused. I mean, you're going to be confused when you play Death Stranding 1 to an extent, but this game is very unapologetic about it being a sequel. And if you didn't play the first one, too bad, essentially, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me. I'm totally fine with that because I respect it, but that's going to be a huge roadblock for a lot of people.
It's a weird thing too with the story. I mean, of both Death Stranding 1 and 2, and also I think of Metal Gear, is that these are games that present themselves as being very thorough and very serious about their lore, but you really should not think about it too hard. Like, if you think about it too hard, you're going to probably be frustrated. And it's weird because there's definitely a lot of, like, dude, the story of Death Stranding 2, there's the awesome, like, the corpus feature where you can, like, view and look at all the details of, like, what's happened in the story so far, who is this character, whatever. There is so much there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very deep and thorough world. But at the same time, there are definitely things about the mechanics of the world that you just have to take for what they are at face value. Because I could definitely see some people getting into this and be like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, yeah. And that's okay. It's kind of more, at least for me, Death Stranding is much more about the vibe, I guess, to use in a kind of annoying, vague term, but like the feeling that you get, the way the game presents itself in a lot of ways. So
yeah, you got to go with the flow.
With
these games. Cool. Let's see here. Drew D wrote in, "Hey guys, hope you're all well. I love Death Stranding 2 so much, and the improvements from the first game and many of the traverse elements are very much appreciated. However, can I complain for a second about how combat with the human enemies? I, for the life of me, cannot understand how their detection system works. Like when they spot you from a million miles away, no problem. I feel like in the daytime, if I'm doing anything around their camps on foot, they will see me and start running. I won't even realize they're on me until I've been meleeed from behind. Next thing you know, I'm in combat. I've learned to pretty much just do any combat encounters at night now, but I just wanted to vent with you guys. Thanks and have a great day. Best, Drew D." What do you think, Alex? Do you think the AI of the enemies is a little too good?
So, Drew, I do see where you're coming from on that. I haven't had that particular issue too much. I feel like a lot of the enemies are a little oblivious to some of the auditory things I'm doing around them. Like I'm around a crate and I knock somebody out, and that makes zero sound with all the equipment that they have on them and myself. So that is interesting, though, that you're approaching combat situations more in the dark, where I actually think that's kind of a positive, that the enemy awareness made you affect when you approach situations according to time of day.
Yeah.
Kind of like a hidden positive, but if it's bothering Drew, then that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like if you see something running around in that world, it's pretty noticeable, like anything, because the world is very still or whatever. There's not a lot of humans walking around. So if you see a guy running around with like 20 packages on his back and as a mule, your whole thing's about stealing packages, you're going to see that guy pretty easily. Because Norman's he's not subtle about anything, it seems like. What do you think, though, Dustin?
So I can't speak on this too much because I didn't really try sneaking very much in this game at all. mainly because I found just going balls to the wall, guns blazing, so much fun. That there was a couple times that I would sneak up on like maybe the first few enemies and take them out, whatever. But that was pretty early on in the game, and I was like, man, they give you a lot of active combat tools. I'm gonna go for it. And so honestly, I would like roll up in the truck and then just get out and pull out the gun and start firing. Like complete no fucks given. Come at me, bro. So I don't know how sensitive they are, but I probably should try to do some. If I'm gonna try to get the platinum, I think you need to get your sneaking level to a certain degree. Sometimes the game rewards you with sneaking, and I'm like, no, I didn't. Has that happened to you guys where it's like, I've done a mission where I was like totally blasting guys left and right, and then I get and turn it in, and I get points at sneaking. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe they just give you some no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you shoot someone while they're like doing the alert thing, that counts as like you did it stealthily.
Okay.
So you might be getting some credit for that. Even though you're going guns blazing, you took them down before they alerted,
Right.
Because I'm playing the same way. Just run in, shoot stuff.
At one point I was going to fight a guy and I ran up behind him and like punched him. And then he was like confused I don't know if I just like hit it the right spot. He was like, huh? And then I punched him again and took him out. And it was like, oh, so-and-so thanks you for taking out an enemy with stealth. And I was like, if that's stealth, man, that was fucking loony.
You coming,
shit.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Alex P wrote in, hey, summoning slits. I've been playing Death Stranding 2, and I'm currently in chapter 4. I've been taking my time with the game, completing all the aid requests and standard deliveries that I can. But as I get deeper into the game, I'm starting to feel the game is a bit too easy. I feel the game may have added too many quality of life improvements and tools that removed a lot of the tension from the original game. Since you're all probably further than me, I'd love to hear your take on this. Thanks to all of the LSM crew for the quality weekly content. I will hang myself like Jeffrey Epstein and listen. Alex, just seeing our audience is insane. Just letting you know.
Yeah, Alex hit with two deep lore.
Yeah,
very dark, weird inside jokes back to back. So we'll leave it be.
Yeah, we'll leave it be.
All right.
It sounds like this Alex agrees with you, Alex.
Yeah, I think it's a little too easy. I'd be curious what difficulty he's been playing on. I played half on normal, then bumped up to brutal, but I don't see a huge difference. What about you two? What are you playing on?
I think I just played it on. I think I played it on brutal near the end or whatever, just because I did want more pushback. But it's weird because I beat Death Stranding 1 again like less than a year ago, and that game's pretty easy as well. I feel like I think with Death Stranding, a lot of it is you can just kind of brute force it with like a truck, especially. You can brute force so many of the challenges in these games just with a truck, and if you're determined enough, you can overcome a lot of them.
Yeah. I played the whole game on normal. I was thinking about bumping up to brutal now that I'm just doing cleanup stuff.
Yeah.
I saw something today, maybe it was on the Death Stranding Reddit, that someone was like, on brutal difficulty, your packages are so much more sensitive to like if you hit a rock or something. And it was a guy just driving. It didn't even look like he hit anything, and it totally fucked up his packages. He had to restart. I was like, well, that doesn't sound very fun. But I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot later. But overall, the game I think is pretty easy. There was one, I'm trying to remember which one, and I guess I wouldn't say which one it was if I remembered, but there was one boss fight that I thought was like way harder than the other ones, where I died once or twice, and then the game just gave me the option where like it showed Sam he's about to revive, and it's like pretend that you won or something.
What?
I was like,
you can skip combat if you do that. You can like boss fights.
I was like, no. Yeah. So I just kept reviving, and the boss was staying at the same thing, but none of the other bosses gave me trouble. Where I was totally fine. I was like, well, that was weird. I don't know.
Was it an early boss? Maybe.
No, I was like halfway. I think maybe more. So, dude, I can't wait for the spoiler cast because the things that I'm most excited to talk about, even from a gameplay perspective, I do not want to spoil.
Yeah.
There is a gameplay thing they introduce in this game that when you do it, it had me like smiling so hard where I was like, Holly, look at the TV. Like, I'll mention it once we're done recording, but there is some super fun, like just clearly like Kojima, like, I think this is cool. Let's put it in the game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, awesome. And it totally works.
Yeah. That's what we come for with Kojima shit. Weird, unusual things that only he would think of. We appreciate that. I guess before we stop talking about it, is there any final thoughts you guys want to say about Death Stranding 2?
Any final thoughts?
Anything we didn't bring up, I guess. I'm just happy, suppose this time around there's more enemy variety, especially in bosses too,
there is.
compared to the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very happy about that.
Most of the things I want to say I can't.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
fine. We'll save
did
it
you
for
guys
another
use the like block mechanic at all?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I appreciate that. It is cool.
Yeah.
But like you're so stacked later on with stuff. I never really had to later on. Like I just had fucking like 3 guns and I just take out everybody.
Yeah, maybe if you're like going pure melee build or something.
Yeah.
Maybe come more into play.
Yeah, because there are some melee weapons that are pretty fun. So, some cool tech that Kojima put in there. I appreciate.
Yeah.
All right. Next game here. I played through this recently for a video, but I was talking about it before the video's out. Kingdom Hearts 2. Dustin, I know you're a Kingdom Hearts fan. Alex, what about you? Are you into the series at all?
I am. I played 1, 2, and 3 once.
Okay.
Maybe right before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, whatever year that was. So I'm not super well versed in the franchise, but I have played them all at least once. Well,
okay.
Not all. I'm aware
the
of
mainline
the
ones.
Yeah. The mainline ones.
Okay. Dustin, give me some of your Kingdom Hearts 2 thoughts.
Kingdom Hearts 2 thoughts. It's a cold take, but it's an accurate take to say Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best of the series, in my opinion. As far as overall, the combat, the variety of worlds, it's the best one. And dude, I remember so vividly this game coming out. It was 2004 or 5 in the US?
This game? Yeah. I think it was 2006 is when
2006.
2, yeah.
Okay, so that, man, for some reason I thought I was in 4th or 5th grade, but that means I would have been in 6th grade. So sometime around then, I remember like gearing up, being so excited about this game. A few months before it came out, my PlayStation 2 died.
Damn.
And I think at this point I was primarily playing on Xbox at this point. So I was like, what am I going to do? There's no way I can buy another PlayStation 2 just for this game. Can't afford it, but I need to play this game. One of my dad's friends, shout out, let me borrow his PS2 for multiple months just to play this game.
Damn.
And so super appreciate that. But this was like, I'm never going to get this feeling back ever again, where there are games that I'm so excited for now that come out, but it's not the same as like when Death Stranding 2 came out. I was hyped, was there that night. I was like, man, it's so great to finally play this. But nothing will beat like before Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, it was like all consuming. There's a few of these games in my life that it was like time stopped before and during when it came out. That and like Halo 2 and 3 were games that I just like lost my mind over. Kingdom Hearts 2 is it's definitely where, well, I was going to say where it goes off the rails, but really it started to go off the rails in Chain of Memories in terms of its story. For all of its positive and negative aspects of that, I kind of learned to embrace the madness of the story.
Yeah, it's like Kojima.
And so I kind of appreciate it for all of its insanity now, but this game, dude, I'm curious, Brad, hearing you go back to it. I went back to it. I played them all sort of like Alex did, but with all of the side games before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. And I was like surprised that Kingdom Hearts 1, going back to it, it's still great, but definitely feels a little dated, a little clunky in some ways. Kingdom Hearts 2, though, is like, man, it still feels maybe not fresh, but it still feels great to play.
Yeah.
And I need to do it like before Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. I'm going to do the same thing again and play through all of them.
Play through the whole series again. Yeah. But yeah, revisiting this 2 is definitely one of my favorites. I don't know if it is, but it's one of my favorites for sure. Combat is definitely a highlight in this game. I feel like it's such an improvement over the first game. It's crazy how much better it is and how more refined the game is compared to 1 in pretty much every department. The worlds, the characters, I think, are just better overall. I will say though, like, playing this is a PS2 game, and I'm like playing it this time, I'm like, oh yeah, this really is a PS2 game with how many loading screens there are in some of the worlds and stuff. Like, I really like the theming of the worlds and the way the game looks, but it's like very limited to PS2 hardware, which is fine. You know, that's what it is at the time. But like when I think of it compared to 3, like the worlds in 3, it's like 3 blows them out of the fucking water, in my opinion, and how they do things like that. But yeah, the combat is excellent in this one. I did some of the data fights and like the harder fights that they added in the Final Mix content. If anyone didn't know, Final Mix was in Japan exclusively in 2007, and we didn't get it until the HD versions came out here. And they added a bunch of content like new bosses and stuff like that, some additional story events, and some of the data fights you could do against Organization 13 members are really fucking tough. Really tough. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is not an easy game series if you want to do everything in the games. Some of these boss fights are insanely difficult, and I always respected the hell out of them. But Kingdom Hearts 2 to me is just a very... I've talked about this before and something, but it reminds me a lot of like summer vacation growing up, hanging out with your buds and stuff, having a good time. But you know, it's going to end because Kingdom Hearts 2 is kind of a bittersweet game, especially in the story department. There's a lot of goodbyes in that game, but there's something very special about it. Gotta give a shout out to my favorite world, the Timeless River, which is pretty much based off old Mickey Mouse cartoons like Steamboat Willie, the black and white world. Just fantastic cool. Going in that world. It looks so good, so creative. The facial animations in these games also are super impressive still. The expression they managed to get out of these characters looks crazy. Like Square was definitely flexing on these games. For combat, I really like the new the forms they've added into the games. Like the first one, you get his Valor form where he can bust out the 2 Keyblades and swing that around. Feels really good. There's the Wisdom form where he can shoot range stuff and focuses on magic. But the important thing about these to me is they feel very rewarding and good every time you use them. So like every time I'd use it in combat, even like near the end of the game, it still felt really powerful and fun to use. So I got to give them credit for that. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, the pacing of the game is so strange, especially if you didn't play Chain of Memories. I couldn't see, and I knew this at the time when it came out. No one knew what the fuck was going on at the beginning of this game. I remember people going, where's Sora? Where's the Disney worlds? Who's Roxas? It's like, if you didn't play Chain of Memories, man, you're out of luck. I'm curious, Alex, did you run into that when you're playing these games?
A little bit. I was a little more open to like watching lore videos.
Oh, okay.
A little bit just to catch me up. Who were Recapitation, I think.
Sure,
did some really good YouTube breakdowns of like, here's how to catch up on multiple games. Yeah, I was totally lost.
Yeah, the series is very unapologetic about being sequels. They're just like, you didn't play it? Too bad. You're going to have no idea what's going on. Luckily, there are YouTube videos and all that kind of stuff out there to help get people up to speed.
Back in the day, though, you were just on your own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely no lore videos back then.
YouTube
Maybe
videos,
you could find like an
none of
article
that.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yep. Go ahead.
It's funny, the Roxas, the infamous Roxas part at the beginning of 2, when I first played that when I was a kid, I hated it. I was like, dude, where's Sora? I don't know what's going on here. I'm just like eating ice cream on a clock tower. Like, let's get this going. Like, what? This isn't what I signed up for.
When I played it 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's long. It's extensive. When I played it last time, though, I was like, dude, this part emotionally and from the story perspective, like this part actually rules.
Yeah, it hits.
So it's interesting how the perspective on that changed. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people it did.
Yeah, I think so. I think this game has been looked upon way more favorably over time than when it first came out.
Yeah.
Got to bring up Atlantica. Fucking horrible world. I hate it. The song one. In the first game, you'd actually explore it a little, which was annoying for a lot of it, but I greatly preferred it to what we got in 2, which is just like a couple musicals. Just like, man, wish we didn't have this in the game. And it's funny, I see people complaining about with 3 having the whole Let It Go song at I'm like, oh, have you played 2? I know you love 2. Atlantica. There's like 4 songs you got to play through. But yeah, it's been interesting revisiting the game and like post 3 and all that kind of stuff where we're at now. It's still amazing, incredible, and I still love it. It's one of my favorites for sure. But
Brad,
definitely some flaws. Yes.
Gut check question for you, and we can, Alex. I want curious what you think also for Kingdom Hearts 4, Star Wars, Marvel. Is it happening?
Yeah,
both. Lock in both.
I'd say both. Yeah,
I would say that's a 100%. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah. I'm thinking about...
Why do you think maybe not?
Well, I don't know. I guess it would make sense to lock it in. It would be... I guess it's just... I'm thinking purely of like, they've only done Disney. And then I guess with 3, they added Pixar. So it's like, if they have access, why not flesh it out? I kind of don't like the idea of Sora hanging out with Tony Stark, but then I think about Goofy with Tony Stark, and I'm like, okay.
Think about like, Goofy with these characters,
right?
Goofy with the Hulk.
What other Disney IP could they pull from? I'm thinking of like everything's on Disney Plus. Like, don't they have own Simpsons now?
Yeah, they
Dude,
do.
Imagine a Simpsons Sora.
That'd
be something
fucked up.
They won't do that. They won't do that.
I don't think they'll do Simpsons, but that'd be crazy. I don't know, Dustin. There's a lot of crazy directions they can go now, I suppose. I hope they do keep some of the classics, at least like 1 or 2. But yeah, Star Wars, I would say, is guaranteed, no matter what. The most guaranteed. Marvel, I think, is pretty much guaranteed. Other than that, I don't really know.
No way they would have them like in Fortnite and then not their own thing.
Right.
Yeah,
there's going to be some crazy shit in it. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. and Sora.
No, dude, it's going to be like fake Robert Downey Jr. Like they had the fake Jack Sparrow.
True, yeah. They ain't got to pay Robert Downey Jr.
Come on, let's go Square. Pay up the big bucks. We want the voices and a full scan. Like I want it to look like Death Stranding 2 quality scan of Tony Stark in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Let's see here. Nevitz wrote in, "Hey Brad, Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite in the series. I just finished a replay of Kingdom Hearts 1 on Xbox. I've never played Rechain of Memories, but I have beaten the GBA original. Is it time for me to re-experience Chain of Memories in 3D for the first time? Thanks for your wisdom." Yeah, I'd say so. Absolutely. As someone who's played both, the presentation is just way better in Chain of Memories on PS2. Dustin, did you ever play the GBA one?
Yes. I played the GBA one and the 3D one. Obviously the Rechain of Memories is a better experience overall. I think when I do my replay next time, I'm gonna play the Game Boy Advance version now.
Yeah,
I think there's something about it, the fact that we have like a really high quality 2D sprite based Kingdom Hearts game on the Game Boy Advance is really cool. And I have an analog pocket, so it might be the way to go. So maybe if you like that, maybe the Game Boy version is the way to go. But if he's never played the 3D one,
if you've never played it, you should play the 3D one. Absolutely.
I don't know if I've told you this, Brad. Holly has played one Kingdom Hearts game, and it is really? Chain of Memories on Game Boy Advance.
That's the one she's played, dude.
That's the only one she's played. She's like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, of course.
This is like when she was a kid, not like recently, but
that's really funny, dude.
Yeah, 2D Kingdom Hearts kind of sounds appealing right now. Which one is that?
Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories
on Game Boy Advance. Yeah, it looks really nice. I remember playing through it. Essential lore. I mean, all games are essential.
I'm kind of in the mood for something like that. I might have to start that.
Yeah, it's cool.
It kind of looks like the old Tales of games, if you played any of those on the Game Boy Advance. Like
Oh yeah, I guess it kind of does. You're right. All right, let's move on from Kingdom Hearts 2 to Sort It Out. In this segment, we just talk about something that needs sorting in the game industry. Could be a company, could be a person at a company, who knows, however personal you want to get. But someone's got to fix it. I'm just going to start with the obvious, Microsoft. How many layoffs was it? Like 9,000 or something insane like that? Closing all those studios. I was excited for Perfect Dark, man. I know that game was in development hell, but I was actually excited for that game and I was hopeful for it. Just a bloodbath over there. And over the past, year or 18 months, it's just been layoff fiesta going on over there. So it's brutal. Of course, Dustin, you talked about it a little bit, I think, on Sacred, right? And the Dukes did as well on their show.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts quickly, Dustin?
It's been interesting this past week, and I haven't been super following things. I'm sure we will catch up for some of it on Sacred this coming week, but there's now reports that like Microsoft is trying to cut as much as possible so they can funnel all this money into AI, which is like, man, I mean, I get it, but also it sucks, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it's clear. What's becoming more and more clear to me, this isn't new info or a new thought. We talked about this on Sacred, is that Xbox leadership is just not in control there anymore. Like clearly big Microsoft corporate is like clean in house, and those acquisitions surely changed a lot of things for them that I think in ways that people did not expect. I think maybe even Xbox leadership didn't expect. So
right. I don't think so either.
Not a good situation.
Yeah. Alex, you got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, unfortunate, obviously, and it's just kind of a bummer that Xbox up until this point has been doing like everything right except for having the games. So it's unfortunate that it's all led to them having to lay off that many people. Yeah. Because they have been doing a lot of goodwill things for the gaming community, but they're just not quite having those games, since Halo and Gears of War don't hit anywhere near how they used to hit.
Right.
So unfortunate on both sides, both the employees and the company itself.
Yeah. Hate to see a lot of them because, like I said, I was looking forward to Perfect Dark. I really liked Perfect Dark on N64 and stuff like that. So it's cool to see it come back. Whatever that tease we saw over that demo, I don't know how much of that was fake or real or whatever, but I liked what I saw. It seemed promising. So I am sad to see it. But at the same time, they've been working on that thing since 2016, 2018, something crazy like that. It's been a long time. So I understand the layoffs, or some of the layoffs at least, but you just hate to see all these people lose their jobs. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's an unstable market out there right now, which sucks. Dustin, what about you? You got anything different you want to talk about?
I have a sorted out for Nintendo. Oh, and this is it's like a lowercase sorted out.
Yeah.
There's a couple things now that we're like a month out from the Switch 2 launching that I would like to see them fix. Two big ones. The first one is I would like them to figure out getting VRR to work in docked mode. Luckily, it's not been something that I felt like I needed in the games I've been playing, mainly Mario Kart World and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Those run both at really good frame rates. But I think it would be really helpful as we start to get more games. I'm a little worried about Donkey Kong because the previews, some of it, the frame rate looked a little which I think it'll be fine. I played plenty of Nintendo games that didn't perform well and had a great time, so I won't complain about it too much, but getting that VRR sorted would be great. And the other thing, too, is this big screen controversy right now going on with the fact that the responsiveness of the screen itself is really bad. And it's funny because I didn't notice this at first. And I think it's because for games like Mario Kart and Zelda, you can kind of notice it in particular, like if you're panning the camera like left and right, like left and right movement. It is definitely a lot more noticeable on 2D games, and it really all depends on the person. So if you don't notice the screen not be feeling like if you don't think it looks blurry at all, you think it looks great, more power to you. God bless you. A lot of people, particularly Digital Foundry, think that the fact that it's so slow may be a battery saving measure. Just like if you can give us an option, I'll take less battery life for better motion clarity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So sort that out.
I didn't hear anything about this. What's a quick recap of that? Is it the response time or what?
Yeah, it's like the pixel refresh time. So if you're playing like a 2D game where the background is moving quickly left and right, the response of the pixels is bad. In some of the testing that I think it's either Hardware Unboxed or Monitors Unboxed did, it's like it is slower than the Switch One, like the launch Switch One, in terms of its pixel response time. So a lot of people, and like I said, I didn't even notice it initially, but it's on certain content and really depends on the person and what you notice and don't notice. So it's also too annoying that the HDR performance on the screen is just not really that great either.
Right.
So I'm curious. Right now, there aren't any 120 FPS games really on Switch 2. There's like the Welcome Tour has the one demo. So like I'm imagining the 120 hertz mode on Metroid on handheld is going to be pretty smeary. So maybe they can fix something like that in time for that launch, but probably not because it's Nintendo.
Right.
So just, sort out some of these launch things, maybe sort out the game key cards. I don't expect anything to change with that though.
Yeah.
But that's been, a pretty big deal recently too. But I wonder too how big of a deal it is actually. I think it's in our bubble. It's a really big deal, but most people
probably don't even fucking know it at all about that shit. No.
Right.
By far. With the game key card thing, at least Dustin, I guess at least first party games are all on the card for now.
Right.
We shall see though in the future as things change. All right, Alex, anything that you think needs sorting out this week in the games industry?
Sorting out. Is it too mean if I also come after Nintendo a little bit?
Please.
No, please.
Please.
So, Mario Kart World. The main way the open world incentivizes you to explore is, again, with PNG stickers.
Yeah.
Nintendo needs to stop the stickers. That's not rewarding. That's not a satisfying way to encourage players to explore. It's not satisfying when you unlock them. It was in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was in, I think, maybe Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2. Mm-hmm. What are your guys' thoughts on being rewarded by doing something cool, doing a puzzle, and it spits out a sticker?
Yeah, I mean, I wish the rewards were better because I think there are cool rewards you could do in Mario Kart. Like, it's random. It's weird how you unlock some characters is by getting hit by Kamek randomly in a match, and you just unlock that character. It's like you should put some characters behind the shit you do in the open world. Maybe some cars, maybe some of the skins. Instead of just driving and getting a cheeseburger and you change your skin. It's like, I get it. You want to make it so people can unlock stuff just by playing races, but you need to put a little more effort in the rewards out there in the world to incentivize people to go out there. And I agree with you 100%. Stickers aren't enough.
Right. What do you think?
Yeah, the sticker system. I guess we'll get into it in a bit. There's a lot of things about Mario Kart World that I'm like, it's good, but I guess I was just hoping for a lot more. I think that the whole design of the game is like the whole idea of the open world or Mario Kart World where all the tracks connect is an amazing concept that they just simply did not execute on as far as they could have. So, and yeah, stickers are kind of like the icing on the cake where it's like, oh, we did all this cool stuff. We put like some of these crappy little challenges in here. Some of them are kind of fun. Some of them are lame. It's like, here's a sticker. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. This is from Western J. Hey, Summoners. I think it's safe to give a massive sorted out to Xbox. I really feel like the time to move on from Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty is now. There's no oversight, no plan, and ruining dev jobs. I don't understand how, when someone like Jim Ryan at PlayStation messes up, he retires. And when it was Herman Hulst's turn to be in trouble, he got demoted. I think it sets a bad example in that you are expendable and easily replaceable. Anyways, take care, guys. Thanks for the wonderful show. Yeah, what do you think about this, Dustin? Seems to be no penalties for these executives, I guess.
Yeah, they're definitely... Well, I think this comes back to what I said earlier about, like, who's in control, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if the Xbox leadership had a plan in place and we're following the plan, and then Microsoft comes, it's like, actually, we need to make all these cuts. We need to fund AI, make it happen. And it's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for them. I'm just putting out possible hypothetical situations. Right. So I don't know. It gets tough calling for people's jobs, I think, in some ways, because we don't know what's going on. Certainly it seems like, though, when there's this many people laid off, this many projects that are in chaos. I mean, imagine what it feels like probably to work for Microsoft right now.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're at a team like Compulsion right now, dude, where it's like you released a game and that's great. You got it out the door, but certainly didn't do anything crazy for the brand. And now you're kind of in limbo. Maybe you're starting a next project and it's like, are we gonna be around long enough to do this? Mm-hmm. So yeah, not a good situation.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier, they definitely don't have a lot of power anymore. But at the same time, I'm just like, how many years has Matt Booty just like fucked up? It felt like just doing a bad job. All right, I had a quick snafu there, but we were talking about Matt Booty specifically. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, kind of what I mentioned before about Xbox. It's just unfortunate that not the right projects were picked on the higher level for, what the younger generation is really looking for right now, which from studies is shown to be they want to spend time with their friends in games. So these just point A to point B games are just not quite catching like they used to. Like, say, Perfect Dark, for example, although it looked cool to us, that doesn't make all of the money. That just makes some money.
Right.
Yeah. So we need someone with that right eye for what gamers want in 2025, for the next 5 years.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's move on to Keep It Up. The exact opposite. Stuff we are happy with in gaming right now. Dustin, let's start with you. What are you happy about in gaming?
I'm not happy about anything. Okay. So,
nice.
No. Why don't you come back to me? I have potentially one. I'm just still thinking.
Alex, do you have anything you're happy about? Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the exact opposite of the stickers. Death Stranding 2, the rewards for doing just mundane, silly deliveries. You get epic stuff.
Yeah.
Like a dog mine. You just delivered some random packages and you get, some crazy modification to your suit or some new gun.
Yeah.
That has some of the best rewards for not only doing the main content, but just for messing around doing side quests.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of stuff I love. Get a reward, you can go out there and play with it. It expands like the total game mechanics. So I love the upgrades. I hope they don't stop since I'm in episode 8. Hopefully I don't run out of cool stuff to play around with. But yeah, more meaningful rewards I would like to see just across the board, all video games.
Yeah, you're right.
Not stickers.
Yeah, not stickers. Death Stranding 2 does have rewards, or really good rewards. I agree with you. Like you're saying, new pieces for your equipment and stuff like that feels very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got to do something sticker-esque, they have the patches at least that you can put on your little backpack thing. But that's not all the rewards, at least.
Yeah,
it's just a little sprinkle.
Those take up a spot where you could have like something useful, though.
I know, that's true. They do.
Can't do it.
Yeah, that's true. Can't min-max on that shit.
Right.
I'm trying to think. Keep it up for me, man. I guess we talk shit on them, but so I'll give them a little positive, a little shine. Is Nintendo with Donkey Kong looking real fucking good.
Oh,
I'm real excited about that game, man. I've been waiting for the Kong to return to 3D. It's finally his time. And it's supposedly the Odyssey team, so I feel very comfortable with them making that Donkey Kong game, and I can't wait 10 days from now for us. It's going to be good shit.
Yeah.
They
should have launched with that.
If they launched with that, it would have been crazy.
Difference. Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, my keep it up feels a little lame, but keep it up, Kojima.
Hell
because one of the things, now that I've completed it, I was like, man, in a world where, like Alex was saying earlier, where you got to make games to try to appeal to as many people as possible, it's so expensive to make a game, so you got to like really try to lock in what's going to be popular to make it sell enough. The fact that Death Stranding 2 is, while it I think is a little more wide audience friendly in some ways, overall it's still not. It's still very much like a very weird artsy kind of game that does weird things with its mechanics, weird things with its characters, and it's just totally weird across the board. And it looks insane. Like, it looks like a super high. I mean, it is. And surely they spent a lot of money on it. So the fact that games like this still exist, I really hope, we don't know the sales yet of Death Stranding 2, but I hope that a lot of people buy it, because we don't get weird, interesting games at this production level very often. So keep it up.
Yeah. Great keep it up. All right, this is from Flint Dibble's weak little bitch ass.
Wow.
Quality.
Hello, gents. Seeing as Dustin is playing Tears of the Kingdom, I just want to give a keep it up to the Switch 2 for how it transformed this game, and of course Breath of the Wild, which I'm currently playing. These upgrades not only to these games, but the other Switch 1 titles have been amazing. Once finished with Breath of the Wild, I'll be jumping straight into Tears of the Kingdom, a game that I never played. Can't wait.
Damn.
Whoa. Hope you don't get burnt out
on Switch 2. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I hope you don't get burnt out doing them back to back, though.
Yeah.
They're massive games. But I don't know. We'll see, but yeah. Okay, Nick Believe It wrote in. Biggest keep it up for Circana. Finally actually including sales and other PC storefronts. So this Circana is like a data branch that reports on like game sales and a bunch of game industry stuff. Going back to August 2019, when Control didn't chart, but Astral Chain and Man and Medan did, what people kept ignoring was that Control was only on Epic Games Store. So if it had charted, that would have been from just the console sales alone. Also, while Nintendo and Bandai Namco report in Circana, I'm not sure if 505 Games does. This narrative that Steam is the only place PC games sell is fucking bullshit. And maybe if the Windows Store had been included prior, the Xbox players don't buy games narrative would have been squashed earlier because of Play Anywhere initiative. What do you think about this, Dustin?
Yeah, I didn't know that they were starting to include that, so that's pretty interesting. It's weird. I mean, I know it's very anecdotal, but I don't know anyone who buys games on the Windows Store or Epic Games Store, so
I don't know anyone either.
But yeah, according to this guy, seems like people are. So, yeah, I'll have to look into that more, but pretty interesting.
Like, everyone I know, like all my friends play on PC pretty much. And they only buy stuff on Steam, only.
Yeah.
Right.
There are occasionally on an Epic a few like early access games that you can only play there.
Exactly. We go there usually if you have to go there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're all just like, nah, Steam. We love Steam. But yeah, love to see more accurate numbers. Okay, this is from Neo JD. Sorted out EA. Wait, I put this in the wrong area.
He's got two. He's submitted
he's got
sorted
two?
out.
Okay,
and
let's do both of this. Yeah. Sorted out EA with Battlefield. I've been reported that the budget is already over 400 million and that EA's goal is over 100 million players. Those are Call of Duty style numbers, which they do across multiple games and free modes. I expect this to blow up in their faces. Wow,
that's crazy.
That is crazy. Holy shit.
Well, my one recommendation to EA for this game is to at least, it should work.
Yeah.
At launch.
That
would be the first thing. And I don't know, don't do any like totally weird shit like the weird scoreboard stuff that they did with the last Battlefield. If they can get those two things right, they'll at least be pointed in the right direction.
Yeah. Man, I played that game when it came out, and it was bad from a technical aspect. It was really bad, dude. I was just like shocked at how bad it was for me.
Yeah. I tried the beta and I was out. Like one match. I was like, nah, skip it. Skipping the whole thing.
Yeah. So they got a lot to prove with the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from... Oh, wait, he had to keep it up. Keep it up, Neil Druckmann. After whatever mess season 2 The Last of Us on HBO was, Neil has kept his word and is going back to focusing on games full time. Here's hoping Interstellar comes out more polished than Dustin's figures in jars. Wow.
Wow. Man.
What do you think about this, Dustin? Neil coming back as someone who watched The Last of Us as well.
Yeah, it's funny because season 2 we did our week by week spoiler cast on them, and I think now looking back at the season as a whole, it's like getting even worse in my mind, that it was just like a total regression from season 1. We talked about this on Sacred, like how much of it was Neil involved. Like obviously he was a showrunner on the show, but he only, I think, directed one episode. And so I'm glad that he's going back to just working on games, especially because season 2 was just not very good. Makes me really worried about season 3 just being really, really bad. Because season 2 had some redeemable stuff in it, but overall just did not hit the mark. So good for him going back.
Yeah.
I still need to go and watch season 2. I haven't seen it yet.
Ugh.
There's something like light PTSD from seeing that story through in the game and wanting to like relive it. It's a very well told story, but it's very just constantly a bummer.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm ready to relive that.
Yeah, man. That game is a bummer for sure.
Well, the first season, it has its ups and downs of the first game. Light moments, funny moments. Yeah, 2 is just like hardcore, just
misery.
Stuff sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, entire time. All right, time for game recommendations. So on this segment, I just ask the audience for a game recommendation for the audience, not for us necessarily, because we have too much shit to play already. But Bloated Backlog wrote and said, "Hello, Summoners. I have an entry for your game recommendation segment. Singularity from Raven Software. With the recent layoffs Raven endured and the fact that Singularity is now 15 years old, I wanted to shout out this gem. It's an entertaining first-person shooter that is very fun with cool ideas. You need to keep your expectations in check, though, as it is unfortunately incomplete, has flaws, and borrows concepts from other games due to a troubled development. It's only $10 right now until July 10th on Steam and GOG as part of the summer sale. It was the last game Raven ever got to make before becoming a Call of Duty support studio, and it's a shame because they were very talented and deserve better. Go check out or revisit Singularity." I've heard great things about this game. I've never played it personally, but I know people do enjoy this game right now. And with Raven Software getting hit by the layoffs, give them your support, I guess, if you're curious about it.
Yeah, I've had multiple people tell me, like, you have to go back and play Singularity. Like, out of all the video games. Yeah, I've heard that one multiple times.
Yeah, man. Justin, have you played it?
Nope. I mean, I know of this game, but I can't even think of like what gameplay looks like of it. But yeah, I also have heard a lot of people say it's really great. So maybe at some point.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about our final game for today. Mario Kart World. We've talked about this a little bit. Dustin, you want to talk about it a little? What do you got?
Yeah.
Revisiting it.
Mario Kart World. I have done all of the Grand Prix. I've done all of the knockout tours. I've not gotten gold cups in all of them, but quite a few. And so going into this, Mario Kart 8, man, amazing game. This was the Mario Kart game that I had played, of course, like some of Double Dash. I never owned Double Dash because I didn't have a GameCube. I wasn't really into Mario Kart Wii at all. And then I think I picked up a Wii U like on sale at some point when they were real down bad. And so that's when I first played Mario Kart 8. And then, of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch. And I absolutely love that game. I was so into it. I was getting not only the gold cups, but the gold cup 3 stars where you get first place in every race. I was obsessed with this game for a while. So going into Mario Kart World, I was super pumped to finally have a new Mario Kart game. And overall, it is good. But I've slowly come to the conclusion that I just do not like it anywhere near as much as 8. For a few different reasons. First of all, and I touched on this earlier, is that the game is called Mario Kart World. The whole, I don't know, it's not a gimmick, but the whole shtick of the game is that they designed this giant world where all the courses exist within. And I remember when they first showed off the game, this idea of like, oh, you can drive to each course. I was like, man, that sounds so cool. Unfortunately, I think that the way they implemented it, where in a Grand Prix, you do the first match, which is a standard lap, and then all of them after that, I believe, are like the type where you will drive to the course and then do 1 lap around it, and then that's it. And I just don't think I like that format as much.
Right. You want the 3 laps?
I like the idea of, if you drove to the course and then did 3 laps, I understand that this would make Grand Prix take way longer. I just wish there was, at the very least, an option that when you do a Grand Prix, that you can choose which version of it you want to do. Do you want to do the mode where you drive to each course, or do you just want to do each individual one? Now, you can do the courses without, the lap in between, but it's not then the Grand Prix mode. You have to go and do the custom mode or whatever.
Right.
So there is workarounds, but apparently too, I think you guys talked about this on Punching Up, where they changed the online mode to do this. And a lot of people don't like that aspect. So it's one of those things where if Nintendo just went and gave people options to what was already available, this wouldn't be a problem. But they are just so slow moving. And certainly, I really do think that at some point they are going to add an update that allows you to choose between these. Or maybe they'll do Grand Prix Classic or something, and that's like a whole nother thing. So I really hope they do that. Overall, too, I find the racing, like the actual gameplay of the races itself, there's so many cool new movement mechanics, whether it's the wall riding or the grinding or whatever, that adds so much to it. I think that, and I don't know if it's just a skill issue for me, is that I'm seeing the clips online where people are doing all this crazy stuff and like learning all these cool routes through the track and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just don't. It seems like to get the optimal enjoyment out of the new mechanics, it's like, okay, go to time trial mode and learn all of these different things. Because sure, like during a race, there's certain like easy grind rails, or like maybe I'll figure this one thing out. But overall, they don't make that much of a difference in your overall race.
Yeah, they don't feel that much faster.
Right. Yeah. I think too that they added they added it so there's way more racers in each race, and it is just fucking chaos. It reminds me more of playing Mario Kart Wii, which was the reason why I didn't like that game as much, is that it felt like item chaos all the time. And certainly there's going to be people that are on both sides of this. There's some people that are like, Mario Kart is a party game. It's not meant to be super high skill based. Just have fun with it and stop complaining that you're getting hit with a blue shell. And it's like, I get that. But there was something about Mario Kart 8 that I really locked in and was like, okay, I want to use this kart and this character. I have really learned these tracks and how to specifically drift around them. And even with the chaos items, like, red shells and blue shells, stuff like that, I can still overcome those odds through skill. And with this game, dude, there's some times where it's like, you just get fucked. And that's just the way it's designed. And I don't like that as much.
Yeah. I think there is definitely a huge skill gap in the game, because like I've personally raced against people like my chat, and the best players are constantly in first no matter what, like every time. So if you are good at the game, you still have a way better chance of winning, I would say. But it's hard for me to say if the chaos factor is more than 8. I guess maybe just because there's more people on the track, maybe that's the whole illusion. But like, if I really broke it down, I'm like, am I getting hit more than I used to compared to 8 or stuff like that? I really don't know yet. I still haven't spent enough time with the game, I would say, to have a good grasp on that. But hopefully there'll be some patches, and I mean, there's going to be patches and stuff like that, but whatever new courses they add to, maybe some new modes. So we'll see, hopefully. But,
right. The last thing to touch on too, which we talked a little bit about earlier, is just the open world mode. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering, but this was something that was like really highlighted in one of the directs, was like this open world mode. They showed off some of the things. And it was like, oh man, this is going to be pretty cool. I don't think I think some of it was our expectations. It's like, man, they built this open world. They're calling it Mario Kart World. Surely the open world feature of this game is going to be awesome. And in reality, it's literally, you start the game and there's it's not even like a main menu thing. It's like
a bonus.
Yeah, it's like hit start to do free roam.
Yeah.
And there is no direction other than wander around aimlessly till you find either a collectible or a P block. If you bring up the map, it will show you like which ones you've completed in certain areas. So that's nice. But it really is, at least to me, a novelty mode.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are people that are into it and enjoy the going around and hunting it. I don't necessarily want like a Ubisoft style map that has every available thing to do in it, but it really is just like collectibles, these short little challenges, and that's it. And that's what I was saying earlier about the missed opportunity, in that I don't need Mario Kart to be Forza Horizon, but it would be cool if you're driving around. It's like, oh shit, there's a race going on here. I can hop into this race and do that. Or maybe there's like rival characters and you do like 1v1 races or something like that. It's like, nope. A challenge is like grind on this rail and then go through this boost thing, or dodge all of these creatures or whatever. And those are fun and they're cute. It's just not anything significant. I guess I just wanted way more from that part of the game.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Same.
Kind of seems to be a consensus about it.
Yeah.
Alex, any thoughts on Mario Kart?
Dustin pretty much nailed it right there. You started it with Mario Kart World is pause good.
Yeah.
Like that. That's exactly how I feel on it. It's just okay, good. Like nothing blew me away so far. Obviously, it's Mario Kart. It's fun to just play. It's the chaos we've always been used to. I was expecting way more out of the open world as well. I would have liked to see like the cups unlocked tied to the open world progression in some way, where you could go online and obviously play all the courses. But if you wanted to unlock every single cup, you actually had to go out there and do some of these sub objectives and have something on a meta level that you're unlocking out of that. Also, the thing about a lot of the tracks you mentioned, Dustin, where you're not doing laps, you're just going from beginning to end. Right. And I think that makes a lot of the courses feel a little samey because you're not getting that repetition like burned into your brain. Because I've gone through all the cups maybe just once, and I don't remember much of any except for like Rainbow Road and I don't know, some that had big giant plants all over it. But yeah, I don't like, none of them were burnt into my brain at all because I would prefer having the laps like the old school ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So a little disappointed, but it's fun to play online.
Yeah. Hopefully the DLC to add is great, but we shall see.
I have a question for you too. In the previous Mario Karts, was it defaulted that in the controls you couldn't go off the course? Because if not, that tells me a lot about
auto steering.
who this
there
game
was
made
auto
for.
steering. Yeah.
But was it defaulted?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because that
Can't tell you.
that tells me a lot that this game wasn't made for me. That's default.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You can't go off the course by default unless you go into the controls.
Yeah.
Which is just insane to me.
Yeah, that is insane.
It's like, oh, this was made for children.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine to have that mode, but as default, yeah, it's a little.
Yeah, as default, it's like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a game that Holly and I have played together a lot, where we're just like, oh, let's do a quick cup or whatever. And every time that we do multiplayer, she has to remember to hit start and turn off the control. Like there is no like system default turn it off. No matter what, if you do multiplayer, you must hit start when you're selecting your cars and turn off the auto steer.
Yeah,
and
so
even if that is for like younger people, they don't even know that there are some features that you're missing out on, like boosting through grass is a mechanic that could shave off some time, and they're just unaware.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I agree with you.
I'm a little grumpy about that being defaulted, but whatever.
No. I think that's totally fair. All right, let's end the show with some questions from the audience. Remember, if you want to write into this show or any of our other shows, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. We post threads there every week for our shows. For this show, I post a thread every Saturday, so keep an eye out there. This is from Raisin. Hello, Summon Sirloins. What are some of y'all's hot boomer gaming takes? Mine is that online gaming is the worst thing to happen in gaming history. When I was growing up, you sat next to your friend and played. You didn't talk shit like a little bitch over a headset. When I'd whip my local neighborhood's kids' ass in SmackDown vs. Raw, if they talk shit, I'd smack their lips off. Likewise, if I talk shit, I'd get my ass beat. We didn't have the power of anonymity. Ice-T said it best. Talk shit, get shot. Shout out to Body Count. I look forward to your all's boomer takes. Until next time, Summoners. All right.
Wow. A lot of ass beating, talking about smacking lips. This is felt slightly sexually charged, but boomer gaming takes. Mine's obvious, and our audience has heard me rant a million times about it, but it's physical games. Keep physical games alive. Even I like digital. I sometimes buy games digitally. I bought Death Stranding 2 digitally for the early access, but I support an option for both. I hope that both remain. Probably not going to happen, but that's my big thing, probably for boomer takes.
What about you, Alex?
Boomer takes. I don't know if this is a boomer take, but I don't know if you guys see those No Man's Sky trailers that come out every like 6 months. Like, this looks like this update is the coolest thing ever made. And every time I boot up that game, I'm going to say still in 2025, No Man's Sky is fundamentally zero fun.
Whoa.
Every time I go in, it's like, this is not fun. But I appreciate that they have added all that content. A lot of people do like it. But for me, Alex, nah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't for certain say I agree 100%. Last time I did boot up No Man's Sky was after a million updates. Because I saw one of these trailers. I'm like, that looks great. And then I realized, like, oh, yeah, this is like a survival crafting game. And I have to put in hours of work of building like an ore processor and set up this whole system. And I think there are other modes where you can kind of streamline it. But I haven't been able to see the appeal, but I have a very limited amount of bandwidth for crafting games in general.
Yeah. For me, dude, I think just like microtransactions and DLC has just gotten like out of control. Of course, I'm guilty with interacting with these. Pretty much everyone is on the planet now at this point. But back in the day when you bought a game in the box, you got the whole game. Now they're fucking adding shit later on to fix in all this crazy stuff, having to buy horse armor. The skins are out of control in a lot of games. The prices for this shit is really expensive. I don't know, man. Just scary.
The most offensive to me, and I think is most guilty of this, is Capcom, where they're like, what used to be a cheat code in a game is now microtransactions. Like, oh, you want to unlock the rocket launcher a little bit earlier? Just pull out your credit card and we'll be able to help you with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy you can unlock it without spending money, but
Right.
being able to just kind of spend and buy it, I guess, is kind of lame.
Right. That used to be just be like a cheat code.
Yeah, it'd be like a
you
cool
want to unlock
reward.
all
You
weapons?
earned it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is
same,
lame.
Same thing with like GTA stuff that was just like a fun cheat code is now gated.
Yeah, like pay for progression speed is
Mhm.
like the most cancerous thing I can think of. Like Assassin's Creed having that kind of shit, like experience boosters and stuff like that. It's like, what are we doing here, man? What are we even doing, guys?
Right.
Give it a rest.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've maybe spent like $25 across my entire life on microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like,
They'll get you.
Having a video game career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've avoided it almost entirely. I think I bought like a League of Legends skin like 15 years ago just because I was enjoying the game and then like maybe one other thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
They'll get us all one way or another someday.
I'm glad that at least in the, we'll say, I guess, console and like primary gaming space, we've gotten mostly away from loot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's gacha games, and that's kind of its own thing.
Right.
But I remember when Overwatch 1, back when I was a big fan of Overwatch, I really wanted one skin, and I think I spent $20 on loot boxes. And I got it. But I remember the feeling after I did that of the extreme dissatisfaction. And I was like, why did I do that? And since then, it's like, nah. I have bought, I mean, this was years ago, some Fortnite skins. But even now, too, like Fortnite skins are so I feel maybe they're not more expensive. In my mind, they are more expensive now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I get why microtransaction exists and all that, and they could be done better in better ways than some others. But it's like, when I think back to it, I'm like, man, this is just be an unlock in a game or something like that you would get. Like a fighting game, you'd unlock a new outfitter for a character or something like that.
Right.
Now you just got to buy the DLC pack or whatever. It's just kind of like, man, it just feels like a lot of times when you buy a game now out the gate, that's not the end. You're going to be spending more if you want to see all the game has to offer. And some games are very egregious about it compared to others. Like any of the sports games and shit like that. All those people that's spending money on those packs to get characters or players and all that shit. Good Lord. It's too much.
Yep. I agree. Good one, Brad. Yep.
All right. Davey Supel wrote in, "What's up, little boys? Have any of you tried GeForce? It's now available on the Steam Deck. I played with it a few years ago around the time of Stadia, but it's incredible. $50 for 6 months of service might seem like a lot, but if you think of the cost of a new console or new graphics card, the price for what you get is unmatched. Games running on ultra settings, full ray tracing, and zero latency. I've run this off my iPhone hotspot and had zero issues. Most games on Steam and Xbox are available on the service too. If you have a Steam Deck, a retro device, or even an iPad with a controller, I would recommend this service. I had a buddy who was going to upgrade his laptop, but now swears by this service. Saved himself to a $2,000 plus purchase. Think about it. I'll kiss my wife and daughter and go about my day."
Wow. God bless.
God bless you. All right, Dustin, I know you are in the streaming space about not being a big fan of it.
Right. So yeah, what he's talking about is called GeForce Now. And that is, of course, he described it, their streaming service. It has been quite a few years since I've tried it. Let me think. I remember it being good at the time. I just don't really have a need for it. I would like to try it again because I've heard specifically that GeForce Now of the streaming services is the best one. I guess that I don't know if it's a location thing where I live that I'm not close enough to any major data centers or something, because like just a few months ago when I got a new TV, it came with Xbox Game Pass, and the TV is one of those Samsung Xbox equipped TVs. I tried it and I have fiber internet. It was fucking horrible.
Really?
And Xbox cloud streaming has always been horrible. When my parents lived in Virginia, I tried it once there. I was like, wow, this is actually not bad. So I don't know if it was just location on whatever, but I do need to try this. And it does sound interesting, particularly from a Steam Deck perspective where a lot of AAA games are just not going to run very well on Steam Deck. The fact that he said this was running on his iPhone hotspot and he said 0 issues. Pretty interesting. Latency is the main thing for me, though, that I can't deal with it. Like, I'm happy for people that are able to deal with any kind of latency from streaming and they don't notice or don't care. I'm just not that type of person. So I'm going to have to test this out, though, with so many people saying that it's really great. I don't have a need for it. I'm very thankful I have a PC with a 4090, so I can always stream from that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool it's available, and $50 for 6 months doesn't seem too bad.
Right. Alex, do you have any experience with cloud streaming stuff?
A little bit, but not for maybe like 5 or so years. I haven't tried it. Kind of like Dustin, it's not really for me because I'm so obsessed with, talking milliseconds and the response time of games and spending a ridiculous amount of money on the screens and the computers and to limit that loss of quality in any way. So streaming, no matter how good it is, you can always see that little pixelization. You can always feel a little bit of input delay. Obviously, if you're used to playing on, higher response time or worse response time screens, you're not going to notice it as much. But it's one of those things, as soon as you're used to that, there's no going back.
Right.
But but also the Steam Deck, that's pretty cool that you can run like the newer high-end games through that. But my question is, why would you use the Steam Deck? Well, you'd have to be at home. You'd have to be at Wi-Fi or a coffee shop, which to me kind of defeats the purpose of a handheld.
Sure.
For me.
Right.
A little bit.
Well, he said he ran it off his iPhone hotspot. I just find that hard to believe that it wouldn't be super latent off of a phone hotspot. Like I mean, maybe.
Anywhere. Yeah.
I got to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really mess around with cloud stuff. I don't have like amazing internet or anything like that, as Dustin knows. So not really my thing, but it's cool for people that it works for. So sure, I'm all for more improvements and all that kind of stuff, though. All right, this is from Caleb Peacock. Hey, dudes, this question is more general towards Dustin and Brad, but Alex can chime in if he happens to be a listener. If each host of LSM were a facility in Death Stranding 2, what would be a special cargo delivered to their location of yours? For example, Micah should have some cheesecake factory or a canceled GameStop delivery. Keep it up, host. Thanks. All right, Dustin, what are you getting delivered to you? What is Sam delivering to your place?
See, I'm thinking about it more so like there's different places that specialize in sending things out. Okay. And that's what would make more sense.
You want to send something out?
Yeah, like I'm dealing in the physical media and anime figures, clearly. Okay. I'm making sure everyone's got their waifus lined up. They got their copy of, Twisted Metal 2 on PS1. They need it. Huge collection, ready to go. Now, Micah would have to be like the smoked meats dealer.
Yeah.
Like she's like sending out like the hot dogs, the brisket, things like that. Colin might be like the toy dealer because he's got all of his G.I. Joes.
No, he's sending out weed. Come on.
He's the weed. No. Okay. His thing is that he's supposed to send out the weed, but he never has enough product.
Yeah. So
because he's like he's using all of it.
A G.I. Joe instead.
Yeah. Who else?
COG, I feel like would give like supplements or something like that. Workout supplements.
Workout supplement. That's a good idea.
What did Maddie give?
I don't know. Is Maddie like, maybe Maddie doesn't provide a product, but he is like because his main thing is being a YouTuber.
Right.
But I don't know. There's not any like content people in Death Stranding. So.
No, that's not true. There's one.
There's that like digital anime.
Yeah.
Girl.
Oh, right. Maybe Maddie is a VTuber in Death Stranding. Is Gene? I mean, Gene's known as being the gooner, so he's sending out the lewd products. I mean, people still need that.
Yeah,
it's lonely out there in the world of Death Stranding.
Absolutely.
So, what about Chris though?
Chris is a tough one to say. He's writing like joke books,
right? Yeah. I don't know.
Sending like dead rats or something. I don't know. Some weird shit.
Yeah.
What else would he do? I don't know.
And you got you two guys.
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, I don't know what else.
What does
send out.
Brad send out?
Poster of General Hux.
Oh, yes.
Dustin. Maybe like a plushie of Trico.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I got the figurines.
Yeah.
I've got the lost media of the old world pre Death Stranding.
Old
I'm
world
trying to
gamer collection. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Brad, I don't know about for you.
I don't know either. Because you took the games thing. So I'm like, well, what else am I good for? Nothing. What am I going to do?
It's a good question.
I don't know. I'll just send
The
out.
audience will come up with a million better responses.
The audience will handle this. Lockmore will send out, I don't know, Belgian beer,
weapons.
cigarettes, weapons.
Dude, he's like the arms dealer. Well, like arms and drugs.
Arms and drugs, yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe cigarettes. I don't know. I'm not saying Locke is a drug user.
Right.
I'm just saying that he has no problem distributing the cocaine amongst to make a buck.
Yeah.
The underworld of Death Stranding.
Alex, what are you sending out? Skateboards?
What am I sending out? It would probably be skateboards. That's a good call.
Yeah.
I got some on my wall that's just out of frame.
Yeah, man. Gotta skate out there.
Skate them to the delivery, use the coffin board.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much like skate influence in Death Stranding. I wonder if Kojima clearly has some kind of fascination with like extreme sports.
Yeah.
With all the tricks and stuff.
Something.
Yeah.
He's got something going on there. All right. Let's see here. This is from Hamstrokers Ejacula.
Oh. This is one I've heard before.
Yeah.
This is a notorious figure.
Yeah. Hey, Sums, I've never bought into the argument that Western developers were purposely uglifying their character models, but after playing Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2, I'm starting to have second thoughts. How come Kojima can make character models that look identical to the actors portraying them, but other developers seem to heavily modify their features? Am I crazy, or is there something to this? What do you think, Dustin?
I think people think that there's like a hive mind concerted effort to do this. I don't think that that's the case, but there is certainly like numerous examples of this happening where I think the worst example was what's the Ubisoft Star Wars game that just came out, Outlaws?
Yeah.
Where the actress that plays the main character is gorgeous. And it's like, why would you did this girl dirty in this game. And it's not even that, I don't know, people are like, she's hideous. And it's like, okay, take it easy in the game. It's like, but I can definitely see that there's like some level of, I don't know.
A little off, something a little unsettling. Yeah.
A little unsettling. That's a good way to put it. So, but yeah, I mean, certainly with Kojima, and I guess this is Decima Engine in general, it's just like, does a really good job at character models. I'm sure it's one of those things where with video games in general, and this has been the struggle for many since the advent of 3D, where it's like you want to make something look more realistic and more, lifelike, photo-like, but there is an element where it's like if you're not quite there, then it looks horrifying, So it's like, okay, well then you got to add some characterization to your models as well. So I don't know. Finding that balance, I'm sure, is tough. I've never had to make a character model. I imagine mine would be absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
If I did.
Same, dude. Any thoughts on this, Alex?
Yeah. Kind of like how we will upgrade our graphics cards, like say every 4 or 5 years. All these different studios, it depends on when they last updated their facial capture software, hardware, whatever that whole setup is. I think we're coming across Kojima Productions must have like the most cutting edge, millions of dollars face tech right now. Where I think it really just comes down to budget and, what system they're running.
Yeah. Because Decima does look insane. Yeah.
It does look just like the actors. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. All right. Final write-in here is from Adam. Hello, gentlemen. This is mostly for Dustin, but anyone that has played both Death Stranding and Tears of the Kingdom could respond. I find these two games incredibly similar. They both succeed beloved genres, defining classics, and keep the exact same gameplay loop with some new minor additions and quality of life improvements. Tears of the Kingdom even keeps the same exact map, and while Death Stranding 2's map is technically different, it's functionally the same on how it plays. In this way, it feels like the sequels have replaced the original. I am conflicted regarding this style of game design. I don't necessarily want sequels to replace the original. For example, Silent Hill 2 is better than Silent Hill 1, and Kingdom Hearts 2 is better than Kingdom Hearts 1 in my of course. But neither of these games replace the originals in the way that DS2 and Tears of the Kingdom do. It makes me a little sad that I will likely never return to Breath of the Wild or Death Stranding because of this. Even though I prefer them over the sequels when comparing my first time playing them because of how innovative they were. Curious to know if anyone feels the same way. I think it caps the ceiling when a sequel takes too much from its predecessor, even if it is what was incredible the first time. All right, so how do you guys feel about this? Maybe a sequel kind of doing everything just better than the first game and maybe not doing enough from a narrative standpoint, I guess, to set it apart. Even though, in my opinion, Death Stranding 1's and 2's narratives are completely different. But do you feel like Death Stranding 2 or Tears of the Kingdom, it validates?
I feel like with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, yeah. I don't know if I would go back to Breath of the Wild. That's an interesting concept he brings up. It's something I have kind of maybe thought of a little bit passively, but the way he put it out in words, that is an interesting concept of some sequels are like standalone sequels and some are just like, this is a full replacement.
Yeah.
I don't quite feel that with Death Stranding 2, but yeah, definitely with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I totally agree about Zelda. And it's funny that over the last few months, I have seen people online be like, Breath of the Wild is better in every way than Tears of the Kingdom. Like, what? So yeah, I feel the same way that I don't ever feel the need to go back to Breath of the Wild. I'll just play Tears because I love the building mechanics. Death Stranding, though, it is true that Death Stranding 2 improves on Death Stranding 1 in most ways. Not every way, but I would say most ways. I think that, I just finished Death Stranding 2 last night. If I booted up Death Stranding 1 tonight, I would be feeling the pain of some of the quality of life stuff that they've done. But with them, a big thing that's not mentioned here is story. It's easy to replace Breath of the Wild because there's really not that much. There is a story in the game. There is a
story, but yeah.
But it's not, it's a Zelda story, and that's fine. I love Zelda stories are cool, but it's not anything crazy. In a few years from now, I could totally see myself going back and once there's enough time apart, I'll play Death Stranding 1 and I won't think about all the things that I'm missing. Maybe I'll think about a few things here and there, but it'll be like, oh, it's okay. This game's still great. And then when you play Death Stranding 2 again after that, you can remember all the improvements again. So I totally don't see it as a replacement in this case at all. But I'm trying to think of other games that are replacements, like their sequels are. In some ways, I guess Destiny 1 and 2 are kind of like that. But you want the story from 1.
Yeah, for watching. It can't play Overwatch 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Good answers all around. All right, boys. I think that's it for the episode. Nice brisk one. I like it.
That went quick.
Piece. Yeah, it went quick, man. Dustin, Alex, both of you, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you on the show, Alex. I like your Helldivers shirt too, by the way. Very nice.
Thank you. Repping
it. But before we go, Alex, once again, let the people know where they can find your work.
Yeah, YouTube at Boomstick Gaming.
Yeah.
You can also find me on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Boomstick Alex.
Yeah, all good stuff. Does good videos, so check them out. Dustin, thank you. What do you got going on for the rest of the day? You taking a holiday to the airport? That's right.
Yeah. So we're going to go to the airport and then
dinner with your dad. That's right.
Dinner with my dad is at a hot chicken place on the way home.
That's sick.
Here in Western PA, there are very, very few. And when you get closer to Pittsburgh, there are, but I don't think there's a single place in my hometown where you can get hot chicken.
Damn.
Really? So we're going to do that. Pretty exciting. And then, yeah, it'll just be me and Frisk at home for the next week.
Yeah.
Chilling. I got to figure, I'm going to keep playing Death Stranding 2, but I got to figure out what I'm playing next. There's a couple of games, Brad, that I want to get the boys together to play.
Yeah, what do you want to play?
Chris was telling me, and it's been real popular on Steam, is that game Peak.
Yeah, we could play Peak. Okay.
We got to play Peak.
Yeah.
So I need the boys online to comfort me as in my loneliness over the next week. So we'll definitely do that.
Cool. Alex, you got anything fun for the rest of the day?
For the rest of the day, I'm jumping into Wu Chang Fallen Feathers right now.
Ooh, very nice. Very cool.
I'll be grinding that out, probably losing my mind trying to... That's like when I get a project that's like all I do to an unhealthy amount.
It's all consuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'll look forward to your coverage whenever I get to it as well. All right, boys. Thank you. And everybody for listening, watching. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next episode. Take care and goodbye. Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.